game. And again, in pick and ban phase, Yamato Cannon, he talked about, the jungle bans. I understand what the Wolves were trying to do to see if Lulex were playing these tank junglers, but it's 5.6. Clearly, he does, because he picked the Sejuani. It was a great pick for him. I want to see if Wolves are banning the same. I wouldn't expect it.
Didn't have any trouble the last time. H2K didn't, that is. Let's see what they do this time. And what the Wolves do, Nidalee LeBlanc banned away. No surprises from the H2K camp. They keep the bans the same. There's a Zed ban. This time, they're focusing on Ryu.
Yeah, it looks like an Ahri pick then for Soren.
Think so. First pick.
Question is, will he take it first, or will H2K get the chance of grabbing it in their first rotation? Because LeBlanc and Zed being banned away, two of the skill matchups in the mid lane for Ahri. We saw Ryu obviously do so well. And there's the first pick.
And we have some switcheroos as the coaches flashed on screen there. They're both looking a little dapper in those bow ties.
Bow ties. We haven't gone to that level yet.
No, we're not quite there. I don't think we have that level of class.
But after all,
yet. But
he's not called LCS
we'll toss to them.
Bow ties. He's called LCS ties.
That's true.
So that's why we stick it to the ties.
Yeah, well, let's see what they have to say about that one. But back to the game. The Ahri lock-in for the Copenhagen Wolves, they're saying this time we want to deny Rio as much as possible. Clearly, Lulex is a man who cannot be banned out. They're testing the same waters with Ryu. And what did H2K answer with here? Maokai's up again. No-brainer, I think.
Here's the thing, though. Ryu is an Orianna player as well. And you can take Orianna into Ahri. It's basically a farm matchup.
That's what we saw last time, the other way around.
Most of the case, most of the situations. So Ryu can go for an Orianna. He can play Lulu in the mid lane as well. Odo Amne still gets his Maokai. By the way, he's 6-0 now on this champion. And the Wolves left it open. This Urgot ban for H2K. Clearly the Wolves had something prepared. Sad we won't get to see it.
Yeah, we might get to see some interesting stuff still. Wolves thinking about the Hecarim pickup.
Okay.
They swapped last time, but it really didn't work out for them.
No, I mean, Lulu's been taken away from Youngbuk, who's also a Maokai player, who's normally, again, a supportive tank or support utility style player in this top lane. Hecarim is a carry champion, in my opinion at least. He needs to do well in the early game. He cannot fall behind, because then he doesn't offer a whole lot. He's changed his summoners, so I guess we will see Hecarim possibly next rotation from Youngbuk, but that's a very different style now from the Copenhagen Wolves. If they put him on a carry, are we going to see Airwax go back to camping for Youngbuk, try and give him an early lead, and then trust in him to do well in these late game teamfights or mid game teamfights?
Well, the Wolves, they have to be preparing some differentiation in style. The issue is, at this point, you're in the playoffs, you're laying everything out on the line. If your experiment fails, like the last game fizzled, you're not going anywhere after that fact. So they're going with the Annie and the Rek'Sai. What does H2K do here? Cho'Gath, we've talked a little bit about him. Haven't been super impressed with what we've seen so far here in Europe. In Europe, there's the qualifier, but it could change. Let's see what H2K does go with, though. The Gragas pick, it's possible, but I think there's a lot of other options on the table still.
Right, and obviously H2K looking at the comp from Copenhagen was saying this is very different. It's a lot more early to make in pressure. The Joggermo's setup is still open for them. Here you can even put Lulu. You're obviously putting Lulu now on Kasing. I'm not expecting Ryu to play it, but he can if he wants to. So H2K now trying to do somewhat the same setup the Wolves ran in the last game, just with the Maokai top. And now it's basically going to be the same deal. Can Copenhagen Wolves snowball the early to mid game like H2K did in the last game? Or will we have to go full late game where this Joggermo can really start winning your fights?
That is indeed the question. So the Wolves, Freeze will be able to get his hands on Kalista. The Hecarim, I think if they play this one outright, they could have the chance to stop H2K in their tracks. But this is where the Wolves have had trouble, though. Their mid games have been lackluster compared to most of their opponents, and they have to make a serious turnaround if they want to change that.
I understand what they're doing. They say, we're not going to win playing standard. We're not going to win trying to go late game. We need a comp that can snowball. You got Annie Kalista, that's a very strong 2-on-2 dual lane. You got obviously the Ahri in the mid lane. We know she's fantastic. And Hecarim is a strong laner as well, who can really give you a massive lead. 1 or 2 good teleports, and these mid game fights is won by you because you have this AD carry or this top laner who's just going to destroy the enemy AD carry with the TP home guard. So I see what they're doing. I just don't know if Copenhagen Wolves is the team that can pull it off, because now Youngbuk is on a carry top laner. We don't see Airwax on a hard engaged support jungler, which is normally not his style as well. We know Soren and Freeze can do well. We know they're playing some of the main champions. Ahri and Kalista have been some of the main picks for them. I just want to see what happens top lane. H2K can more than freely just lane swap, try and deny this Hecarim from reaching his fairly early Trinity Force, and make him pretty weak in that case. And also dodge around the Kalista Annie lane, which can be super tricky to deal with. I wouldn't be surprised to just see H2K say, okay, we lane swap, chill out a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost strange how they kind of turned around some of their picks, mix and matched a little bit. So H2K still deciding on what they want their last one to be. And it looks like they are going to lock in the Diana, so that will be Ryu's choice, with the Lulu going bottom, and for Lulex is going to be Gragas, of course.
Yeah, Diana into Ahri is honestly a decent matchup. I mean, obviously it's very much a skill matchup here, and Diana will take a lot of damage in the start. But once she hits level 6, combine that with a Gragas, you can set up some pretty strong ganks in this mid lane, and obviously H2K feel like their double tank and a Lulu is enough peel for Yanan, and you then get a bit more dive to backline from H2K's side. If you lock down Kalista with the Maokai, Diana will follow and can one-shot her. So there's definitely options here for H2K. Very, very bruiser-heavy comp. As we often see in this current meta, Diana obviously builds Abyssal, Hourglass, so she will be fairly tanky in terms of AP mages.
Yeah, well, a lot of the team of H2K should get fairly tanky in this situation. It's not just protect the Kog'Maw composition. They can get Diana up to a big level too. Maybe the Gragas can go damage it. We'll see what happens. I don't expect it, but it's possible.
No damage for the Gragas. Let's just have him full tank.
All right.
That's maybe a nice point gauntlet, but that's it.
But he's definitely got to still hit the skill shots. Now,
yes, he does.
We'll see what you guys think. Do you think the Wolves can answer this one back? Can they get a 1-1? Well, why don't you tell us? Tweet us at LL Esports with the hashtag Copenhagen Wolves win or CW win, the short one. H2K win if you think they're poised to go 2-0. We'll be going on to the Rift this time, and we have a couple tables turned around for the compositions. Let's see what the Wolves can do, or if it will be H2K up in the 2-0 at the end of this one.
And a very, very different comp now from the Copenhagen Wolves. Strong early to mid-game for them. A lot of pick potential. If you manage to get control of the map, you can set up some very easy TP engages from a Hecarim that you basically can't do anything against, because you don't see where he's coming from. He gets to your backline, he wants your 280 carry, and the fight is won from the Copenhagen Wolves. I mean, look at it. You got Hecarim coming in, you got Flash in from Annie with the tippers. Ahri will obviously dash in and follow. Like, there's so much engage here from Copenhagen Wolves to start the fights on H2K, but they have to win that early game. It's a big deal here for them, and if H2K decides to swap it and draw out this early game a little bit, it will slow down the Copenhagen Wolves and set Youngbuck behind. He's starting Thorn's Blade, which I've seen a few times when you assume it's going to be a lane swap, because it makes you clear very easily and very fast in the jungle together with the Rek'Sai. But obviously it hurts him quite a lot if he's sitting in the lane trying to get XP in this 2v1, because he has no extra sustain really.
Right. So if we assume that the Copenhagen Wolves are expecting the lane swap, then H2K, do they think that that's what H2K are thinking, or what Copenhagen Wolves are thinking, and then just not do it at all? They're hanging around the bottom side, and they already know that Freeze and Unlimited were down on the bottom, but neither of them are backing away.
Seems like, yeah, H2K just want to do standard lanes then against the Wolves, feeling confident they can win the 2-2 fight. It's not a horrible bottom lane from H2K, but they do need a few levels on Yanan before he starts shining compared to a Kalista in the early levels. And the Wolves are going to aim to stop the Grump from being started. And instantly H2K backs away. Ward should be placed over the wall. And then you know, okay, no Grump has been taken. It is even, but they will just see them in the lane here. So Copenhagen Wolves slightly behind in terms of the early push. You can see Kassane just glitter lands through the wave, trying to get an early start for H2K. Now they're racing for level 2.
Creating a little bit of harass. Unlimited and Kassane as they move back into the right position. So, starts off Farm Fest to begin this one. And interesting to note, too, the other top laners have taken their place. They were doing the jungle buddy system for just a little bit. Odoamne spends his teleport to make his way to the top, and so does Youngbuck. And with that, we're pretty much back to normal.
Yeah, now Thorn's Blade can pay off for Youngbuck in the lane. And engage onto Yanan.
Yeah, they're looking for him. Heal's already popped. Oh boy, and the Ignite was used by Unlimited also. Yarnan a little bit low in this one.
That was a level 1 engage, by the way. Yeah. That was level 1. Now level 2 for Copenhagen Wolves.
They're going to keep moving forward. Kassing's the one who's a little bit more out of position, and they take him very, very low. This is an advantage now for the Copenhagen Wolves. See if they can freeze this one away. It won't be this wave quite. But if they can reset this one and keep Kissing and Hjarnan away from it, it could build themselves quite the edge.
Hjarnan going back to base already after being poked down quite a lot. Didn't want to blow his potion. Lulex, first gank from him is around the mid lane. Let's see what they can do onto Soren. Rek'Sai is nearby, but Airwax is very low.
Yeah, Soren's able to get away. It was a much later gank that Lulex attempted, or that Airwax, I should say, attempted last time on the Gragas. This time around, it's very early from Lulex, doesn't pay off, but he does scare Soren away for just a moment. Let's see what Ryu can do to clear this wave away. The charm is going to land on Ryu, however. Young Buck moving on to Odoamne, trying to get back to the safety of his tower. He's going to be able to survive hot shots from the sapling. He's going to force him back to base now.
And we see this same here for Lulex. He's a very aggressive jungler in the early game, always putting a lot of focus on trying to gank, especially for his solo lanes from H2K. And that could be one of the reasons they took the standard lane, simply to try and shut down their Hecarim, not running with a flash, obviously. When you got that point-and-click snare from the Maokai, you lock him down, you got the Gragas CC coming in. Putting some pressure on Youngbug. Is really costing them in the bottom lane, though. I mean, this matchup, especially if you lose the race to level 2 against the Kalista, it is so painful because she has so much ability to always jump to you and just keep poking you, and she can even jump away after every single auto attack. She jumps away and she throws her Q in the air, and you won't even get to hit her because she just auto attacks, jumps away, throws Q, and she wins the trade automatically right there. So this is really hurting H2K in this bottom lane, and that's why I'm surprised they took the standard lanes. But we're going to have to see if they can make enough plays on Youngbug in this top lane and shut him down on Hecarim to make it worth it.
Yeah, it was a massive risk, and you can see it not paying off right now. They didn't manage to get a pickup, but they're still denying a heavy amount of farm away from Hjarnan, because Sing really hasn't been able to get involved. Lulex is going to make his way down. There are no wards to spot him right here, but he should wander close to a pink.
They got him.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is right now. He pings out. Airwalks is going to move towards him. Fancies his chances at this one. The flash and the dash, but he gets blocked. Soren is there. He's going to flash charm. This is going to be first blood, and it goes to Airwalks. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Hjarnan still taking damage. Now it's Kasing forced to flash away.
Such a good setup here from the Copenhagen Wolves. Airwalks were waiting for Lulex to show the pink ward, and then notice how he flashed to block the body slam. Odoamne here, he's in problems.
Yeah, very low. Youngbug takes him out. The Wolves, and that was the lane that the Wolves were having trouble in.
Yeah.
They're now in a nice early game lead, 1,500 gold up.
On paper, that was a mismatch for Copenhagen Wolves. Odoamne against Youngbug. And we have not seen Youngbug play a carry top laner for quite a while. Now he picks the Hecarim. He got ganked early, yet he gets a one-on-one kill. Odoamne clearly not respecting the damage and the summoner spells from Youngbug in this lane.
Yeah, now he picks up some walking shoes too, so it'll be even more deadly to Odoamne. Back in the mid, Soren's been giving Ryu a hell of a time, also has himself a farm advantage. The level 6 has now come into play, so Ryu will have a little bit more in his tank. Soren is not perturbed by this at all.
So the play we saw before in the mid lane is one of the reasons that these early game junglers are still so good. We might see it again. Lulex is spotted. Airwax is sitting and waiting with double buff. Lulex has no flash, remember. He's going for him again.
Comes Airwalks. Spray Seeker goes wide. They won't be able to hit it.
But this again is one of the reasons these early junglers are still so good, because you are supposed to control the early fights. Like we saw before here, Lulex couldn't do anything. Like, Gragas is not a super strong one-on-one jungler, especially not compared to the likes of Rek'Sai, Nidalee, and so on. And therefore, Copenhagen was with the Ahri pick into Diana, and of course with the Rek'Sai into Gragas, they have controlled the mid lane. Got rewarded with one kill, now they just gotta avoid dying down the bottom lane.
Oh! Flash to avoid the dash, and Limited makes it out with only a few scratches, as Lulex, with a few spears sticking in him, has to walk away. If he had level 6, that would have been a very, very different engage, but 2 levels away from that just yet. Treason Unlimited, the pushback for a moment, but still a massive advantage to them. The Wolves, they are looking good in this early game. Let's see if it keeps up.
Look at Airwax again. Sitting in that mid lane, he's staying around Soren. He did the same in the last game. He gave up that first dragon at minute 4 because he was ganking the mid lane for Soren when he played Orianna. Now, of course, on Ahri, a lot more explosive, a lot more snowball potential. And this has been paying off for the Wolves. Now they're trying to invade into the jungle, get at least somewhat of a debuff to pink. They should be able to take this red buff as well. H2K doesn't know it's happening. They saw them leave the mid lane, but they don't know exactly what's going on. So odoamne has to be careful on the top side as well. You can see a sapling on the minimap has been thrown over the wall to see if anything happened. But they will return back towards the mid lane. Ryu is caught pretty far up the lane. He has safety towards the bottom side though, where Lulex is waiting on the Gragas.
He'll get out, but yeah, it's a very dangerous situation for H2K in these lanes so far. Every one of them is under a lot of threats. That's a lot of pressure on Lulex to try and make plays around. He's out one red buff right now. Soren goes in, lands the charm on Ryu from the backside. It's airwalks. They're going to get a combo. Will Ryu go down? He does. And there's a teleport still coming in. It's going to be odoamne looking for airwalks, and he finds him. But in comes Youngbuck to follow it up. Do they have enough damage to finish him? It doesn't look like it. We have a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 and 2 teleports used here. I think the dragon was started earlier from H2K. They decided to back away from it to see what happened in the mid lane. So Copenhagen Wolves might have just stopped the dragon without even knowing it. And also getting a 1-for-1 trade. Not sure the teleport were needed for Youngbuck after odoamne had already secured that 1 kill.
This difference between these two AD carries is starting to get staggering. Here comes the Fate's Call. They knock up Kasing. Yarnan instantly heals. There's the Tibbers. Exhaust is down, but they're still putting out a ton of damage. Kasing burning away. Will the Ignite take him? No, they heal. The Tibbers.
No, it's not hitting.
Oh my goodness, he didn't do the auto attack. Oh.
Tibbers, you had one job. Just slap the Yordle in the face. And he just stood there. Man.
Gotta retrain your bear.
Yeah, report this Tibbers.
Okay. Very, very close call. All the same, they force him back. Freeze have his health, but it's not really a problem. He's able to kite away from these Kog'Maw ults. Put some farm in his face, but still, it is a really, really rough time for this H2K bottom lane. They forced Lulex to make moves around the bottom so many times. Getting some serious exercise.
That's for sure. And Soren in the mid lane, so despite trading 1-for-1 earlier, he still has enough to go towards the Luden's Echo. Gonna get it fairly early. They're going to second round on Yarnan now.
Wait a minute. Another stun. Do they have enough damage? Kasing's back, so no.
Don't have it. Also don't have a BF sword yet for Freeze to really make the rent hurt. Just went for early lifesteal, as we often see on Kalista if you don't have 1550 when you're back the first time. Another play in the mid lane though.
Yep, the charm's gonna go wide, but the dash up won't. Ryu, half of his health is gone. You take a look at that fan vote despite the win. H2K have lost a few fans in this, so Copenhagen Wolves impressing in the opening 10 minutes of this game. Themselves a 2,000 gold lead. Let's see if it keeps up. Ryu going in on Sword, but Airwalks is there. And the barrel for disengage, only for a second. Tower now under siege. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Youngbuck, odoamne duking it out again.
You can really see how Copenhagen Wolves focus this mid lane here. They got the stronger 2-on-2 skirmish, they got their Rek'Sai, and they keep trying to make plays. Okay, the charm missed from Soren, but had it connected, there would have been another kill onto Ryu. They apply the pressure, get damage on the tower. They're going again on Ryu here.
Yeah, but he goes in on Soren. He might be able to take him out. There's a flash, and the charm won't connect. Airwalks now has to be careful as the Crescent Strike hits him. Goes back in. Preyseeker knock up. Oh, Lulex flashes away as well.
Lulex not enjoying this early game on Gragas. I feel like every time he's trying to join a fight, he's either forced to flash away or just dies. Yarnan and Kasing now abandon the bottom lane. We'll try and at least get a Raptor. Yes, sir. On to Kasing.
They do manage to get that. Grab a little bit extra gold for HK. But speaking of gold, Copenhagen Wolves, I mean, at this point, this is the largest gold lead they've been able to build up at this point in the game.
Yeah.
For the entire split. So if there is a game to answer back, this is starting to look like the one.
And this is the kind of play style the Copenhagen Wolves have to be able to pull off if they want to beat H2K in this best out of 5. They need to be able to get an early lead and then keep it.
Oh, Ryu! Ignites across the board. And they trade in the mid lane.
Dana, once she hits level 6, has very good all-in potential. Airwax, he's starting the dragon. I'm lying to everyone, he's not.
Taking the dragon.
He wants a smaller objective first.
Well, you wanna start your dragon off with a little bit of crab, some seafood in your diet, and then you can go for the tougher meat. It's a first course to fish.
Do you eat a lot of dragons, Spyro?
No, they're an endangered species actually.
Oh, okay. Shit.
So if anyone calls and asks, the answer's no.
It's good, but down the bottom lane is not a no.
Oh, they combo that up just so well. Yarnan, target of focus. The Tibbers this time turns his attention to Kasing. Yarnan trying to pelt away under the tower. They don't have the minions to try and siege this one, so instead they go back to the wave, but still giving Yarnan and Kasing such a hard time down in this bottom.
And they should. I mean, you got BF Sword on Freeze now. They're starting this dragon because H2K took so much damage in the bottom lane. A few ultis are missing from the wolves. Can make a bit of a tricky fight. And also decides to back away from it. Needs to secure a kill in the bottom lane or the mid lane before they do anything on the dragon. But really, when you got that BF Sword on Kalista, her rend damage is just stacking up so nicely.
Yeah, there's the heal, the stun, exhaust is down.
One more.
It's not quite enough. Freeze.
No, again.
Couldn't quite do it.
They're so
Yarnish
close.
is the master of escapes.
Nice exhaust as well from Kiseng here. Got to give him some credit.
But they're right back to Dragon.
Yeah, okay, you didn't get the kill. You forced the base. That's fine. Dragon is now yours. Table's completely turned here. Copenhagen was with the early Dragon, or well, early, 30 minutes, the first Dragon. And the early control. Remember still though, H2K between 15 minutes and 22 minutes is normally where they shine.
True. That is true, but they usually have this edge in the early game, in the mid-game stage.
Hey, Leviathan is here.
Oh, yeah.
He's
scouting the competition, man. Uh-oh. This could be trouble for Young Buck. He gets knocked up. He's going to dash and ult. Can he get away? He moves away from the barrel. And he dodges out from death. Lulex and Odoamne come up empty-handed again.
We need like a random Karthus in this game here. Just popping ulti when people are that low. Everyone just seems to survive. This will be a tower though. We are still looking at H2K. This is what they do. Early turrets.
Yes.
We're not at 50 minutes, but I'll take 14.5 to count as the golden time.
But there's no one at home. Well, there's a Ryu at home. I completely lied, but he may not be for much longer. Tower's still pelting away. Ryu, have his health. Soren could be in some trouble as he dashes over into the Razorbeak camp. Lulex and Ryu at his tail. In comes Airwalks. Might have bitten off a little more than he can chew, but see what he can do. Tower goes down. Odoamne manages to take out Soren, but he falls as well. And Airwalks goes down, a 2-for-1 trade for H2K, but they lose a tower, and they're going to lose another one here on the bottom. So the Wolves have now answered back some towers, or at least they will in a moment, whenever Freeze feels like finishing this one off.
Just wanted to clear some of the minions at least, getting it, pushing down towards Copenhagen Wolves. I think this one will, however, push back to H2K, but they're simply ignoring the Kalista lane now and just saying, you know what, we can push you other outer turrets. Top lane is already gone, mid lane taking just a little bit of damage. And also with the trade before here, a lot of action.
Oh, Tibbers lands on Hjarnan Kasing. Lulex trying to body block everything. There's no tower to fall back to. Freeze, Unlimited coming in as they take down Hjarnan. They rip through Lulex. A double kill going over to Freeze. And they are starting to shove forward. Can Odoamne push the tide back?
I very much like when the Wolves are playing more aggressive comps. It's not over yet.
No, it's not, because Freeze goes down as Ryu comes around the side. Youngbuck taking tower aggro as he gets polymorphed and taken down. Answered just like that. It's a double kill for Ryu.
This game, man,
it's getting bloody, Deficio.
It's getting pretty crazy here. It seems like both teams not really respecting what happens after the fight. The Wolves here just pushing up on the tower. Then obviously Ryu just comes in together with Odoamne, and they're still super healthy and takes 2 kills, takes a mid tower. But Copenhagen was also trying to respond in the top lane, getting one up there. Airways.
Yeah, jumped out by Odoamne. Soren's here too, though, and they're just trying to kite back, move away. But yeah, I agree. Both teams are kind of getting a little bit greedy in this situation, and the old adage of solo queue is that greed does equal feed.
That's a good one.
And so does face checking, or at least moving into dangerous territory unchecked, as Ryu manages to pick up Unlimited for Esprit. Odoamne and Lulex dueling it out with Soren, as Odoamne a little bit low. Soren flashes forward, dashes in, has enough damage to pick him off, but can he make the double outplay? I don't think so, as he's going incredibly low, and the fat man knocks him on the head for a kill.
So H2K here, even out there the kills. Ryu with the one in the bottom lane. Nice little setup, also flashing away from the ulti from Youngbuck. And really this game just completely exploded. You have one team, the Copenhagen Wolves, feeling like they just have to force fights, they have to force towers. They need to get a big enough lead so that H2K cannot get to late game. And then you just see H2K trying to respond to everything. And at least even out the kills. Still slightly behind in gold. And obviously the first dragon for the Wolves. But really, every time someone gets a kill, they don't really stop and think, okay, how many champions are still alive? I mean, can we push on this one? No, they just seem to go for it and then get flanked. Happened twice in the mid lane for both teams now. So let's just calm down a little bit. Next objective, well, Dragon is up in 2 minutes. Wolves obviously need to go towards the 5th one if they want to force H2K into some bad fights, but they won't be able to do it as fast as H2K. In the last game, we were like 32 minutes. That was the 5th one. Obviously going to be a lot slower from the Wolves, but all outer turrets are gone for them, so they can start getting some vision into the jungle of H2K here. The jungle is open. Multiple ways to get in there and place your wards, and then you have your Luden's Echo Ahri, which is gonna work around this vision here. Find an opening, force someone to come face check her, and she will instantly blow them up.
Absolutely correct. On the other hand, for the Wolves, they have definitely established a much better map control game this time around. The big issue last game was they just were never able to get anything in and around the Dragon Pit into the enemy jungle other than a few wards. This time, they've effectively neutralized some of the slower scaling parts of H2K's comp. I mean, you look at the CS differential between Freeze and Hjarnan. That is absolutely massive. The Trinity Force spike, well, it's not so impressive when you're staring down a Kalista that's got a Bloodthirster and halfway to another item.
Yeah, and already sitting on 1,500 gold for Freeze. Now Rio is being caught.
Yeah, he is. I don't think he's getting out of this one alive. Slippery as he might try to be. Shut down by Airwax. And now the rest of the Wolves are looking to prey on the H2K jungle. Let's see what else they can find here.
Yeah, this is exactly what we just talked about, how all outer turrets are gone from H2K, so Copenhagen Wolves can start moving into that jungle. Not sure what Rio were doing on the bottom side. I think he's trying to do Gromp just in the middle of nowhere.
I think he ended up securing it at the end, but then, you know.
Sure, I guess worth for him,
but
the thing is, you gotta be able to predict the Wolves are invading your jungle. And now Hjarnan.
Yep, Tibbers on him as Freeze just pecks away the wild growth to keep him big for a moment. He will survive for now. Should have to base after this one, though.
Should be Dragon now for Wolves.
Yeah, up and available. They've got the map control to do it. They're not moving there just yet, though. Into the jungle of H2K is the Wolves' plan. Looks like they're eyeballing this second-tier bottom turret.
Well, that's fine as well. You got the minion wave pushing up. The wave clear from H2K is fairly weak here. Diana is pretty tough for her to hit enough minions with a Q. Obviously, Hjarnan here needs a lot more time before he can clear the waves. So this is a nice little setup from the Wolves, and it all starts with them catching out Rio at the Gromp. For some reason, he's not respecting the fact the Wolves can invade into his jungle. He dies, that sets up the bottom wave at first, and also allows the Wolves to go mid lane and start a fight because they know there's a numbers advantage. So by getting that one kill and they control in the jungle, they got now tower, they got the dragon, they forced a flash from Hjarnan as well, which is going to be important for the next fight. They are getting everything at the moment. Can H2K manage to hold off and slow down the Wolves? If they keep playing like they're doing now and being caught out in their own jungle, they won't be able to.
Okay.
Oh, Odoamne's TPing.
Yeah, he's TPing in to try and force something, but this is not familiar territory for H2K. They're not used to being behind in these situations. It might bite them in the behind. Odoamne certainly regretting this decision, or is he? Because the rest of them are coming in. H2K, they haven't been taken down yet, but Lulex will fall. Odoamne right after him. They take out Airwax. Kasing incredibly low and throws a Glitter Lance to try and slow him down, but that'll only keep the pony expressed away.
Oh, they got him.
And Kasing falls as soon as the They catch Hjarnan. The charm connects. Hjarnan trying to wiggle his way out of danger as Youngbuck tanks up the turret. He stays alive just barely. And Ryu is on the hunt now, but there are way too many Wolves for him to handle. It's a 3-for-1, Deficio.
And you could see the Copenhagen Wolves just stay around the ward where Odoamne was teleporting, saying, we want to fight. I mean, we have the wards in here. We're stronger right now. This Ahri pickup really doing work for Ryu in game 1, now for Soren in game 2. And H2K really backfired that they wanted to fight. Let's see it again. Just look at the teleport coming in after this little dance. The damage on the Kasing, so he's flashing away. You see the ward. The wards are not running away. No, they're saying, okay, great. You want to teleport in, you want to fight, we'll take it. Soren gets locked up. Freeze right now is just dealing damage from the side. Odoamne is super low, and Lulex is not tanky enough yet to really dive onto a backline, so he dies very, very quickly. Airwax will end up going down, but the Wolves had this fight under control. Even gets a kill on Kasing. You're still playing with a very late game hyper carry from H2K. You didn't have to force this fight. There was no objective to take. The dragon was already gone. Yeah. You already lost your jungle. There was no reason for you to start the fight from H2K's side.
This is the thing. Their playstyle doesn't necessarily suit this composition, and I feel like they're trying to force it. When they're behind, they're trying to force it out to the fact. So By the way, we're still in the replay because Ryu went in really deep to try to make this one happen. And then Youngbuck said, okay, enough of this.
There we go.
That's how it happened, by the way.
So,
Up,
fight, Pyra.
Yep, as soon as we get out of one.
Well, not really a fight then.
Well, it was an attempt
pushing.
at something.
So H2K has never won if they were behind at 20 minutes in gold. 23 minutes. I didn't see what it was in 20 minutes, but I know the Wolves were ahead.
It is
well,
trending not looking good for them, but the thing is they were up very, very big in game number 1. This time, it's a very, very different game because of the way the Wolves have played and the way that they have taken advantage of the holes in H2K's composition and playstyle.
Normally, I would say, well, H2K clearly would be in problems here in this game. They are in problems. But Copenhagen Wolves is a team who's been terrible, honestly, at closing out games. They've been so good early game and so good in the big late game team fights, but the mid game has always been a problem. They never managed to really push the lead properly. We saw against Rocket in week 9, they went Baron like 10 times. The game went on to be 55 minutes long with Wulat recalling the mid lane dying. That was what Wolves needed to win. So it's not over yet from H2K.
No, not at all.
But they need a lot more time because Jan is just sitting on one completed item in the Trinity Force. Freeze is so far ahead in terms of farm, in terms of kills, towers, of course, 4 towers for them. What they're trying to do now is siege on one tower where they're not basically pressuring the other lanes. They have the minions in the bottom lane, but that's going to be easy for H2K to go and clear out. Obviously, the Wolves are just waiting for this dragon to spawn as well.
The Wolves are taking their time a little bit about this, though, too, and I think it's allowed H2K to really mount a defense here. We'll see what they're able to do. For now, they're pushed back through the jungle.
Yeah, so, objective for the Wolves. You need the 3rd dragon, so they got that 5th dragon objective. And then you need to put pressure on the mid lane and the top lane, because then you have the Baron control as well, which is super important once dragon is gone, because that's going to be the next big global objective. And what's going to happen is, let's say Wolves go 4 mid lane and then Youngbuck top lane on the Hecarim. You push in the 2 lanes at once. That opens up for you to walk into the jungle of H2K, establish vision control, set up your own wards, have pings, have sweepers, clear them out from H2K. So you now have a route all the way down to Baron where you can see everything. And if H2K ever walks in to face check you, well, then they should be punished because, again, you got the control. You own that jungle. That's also why H2K are moving in now and placing all these defensive wards in the river, near the Baron, at the Baron itself, behind it. There's so many wards now for the Wolves to clear, so it's going to be hard for them to set up the Baron control. But when you have a Kalista, all you need is time, honestly, on a Baron. And you would get enough Rend stacks to deal 1,000 or 2,000 damage to the Baron and just blow it up. So if Wolves can manage to push up mid and top lane, once Dragon is gone, then they can get that Baron control. And that's what they have to do. Against Rocket, they just walk straight Baron. Nothing else. They just walk Baron every time. They just stood at Baron and said, hey, let's stop Baron, and Rocket stopped them. They started and stopped. They never tried to get control of the jungle behind it, which is what they need to aim for. But first, there's a dragon to fight for.
That will be the start of this one. Ottawamne trying to zone Unlimited and Soren. He's going to take some serious damage for his trouble, but Ryu is coming in as the explosive cask was coming out. Airlocks flashing. In comes Youngbuck. Unlimited still chasing around, but Freeze is going to get caught, and Lulex will get the kill to take him down. Unlimited flashing the wall, and this is H2K's fight. Let's see what they can do from here.
What on earth happened there for the Copenhagen Wolves? They were fighting in the choke. There was no TP home guard from Youngbuck. It wasn't ready in time. And suddenly Freeze were just caught in the middle of the fight. Suddenly, take everything we just talked about, throw it out the window. Instead is H2K setting up around the Baron.
Yeah, Youngbuck's actually going to be the one who's caught up for just a second here as Ignite starts to take his health away. Ryu on the chase, afraid of getting dashed back in on, but H2K still chasing. Oh, Youngbuck, he's going extremely low. He can't get involved in this fight, but he doesn't get taken out. Instead, it's Unlimited that pays the price. And H2K walk away with another kill.
Another kill, yeah. I mean, they were 5k gold behind in the mid-game. Luden's Echo on the Ari, 2 items completed on your Kalista to just a Trinity Force on Yanan. Copenhagen Wolves were not supposed to lose anything at this point here. They're still around the Dragon. Unlimited is dead for another 10 seconds. Ottawamne has TP and Home Guards completed. He's coming in now. Youngbuck just used home guards to get to his tower.
They peeled off the dragon. Oh, Odawamne, he's able to get the twisted advance onto Airwalks as he was tunneling his way away. Youngbuck's on the wrong side of this fight, though. Unless the Wolves are fancying a re-engage. Dragon's starting to reset its health, but it looks like H2K could pick this one up. They're on the right side of it. Airwalks running forward, trying to make the Smite outplay, but he won't get it. H2K pick up their first Dragon. And there's a big wave pushing against the Wolves
and
in the top side, too.
5K go behind. They get the Dragon. They get the kills. This also removes the 5 Dragon option for Copenhagen Wolves for at least another 20 minutes. To even think about that one, this wave will be taken by Yanan, so no additional pressure. Let's see if Youngbuck and Unlimited can do something.
Uh-oh, Youngbuck runs into 3 members of H2K. Unlimited's still there, a little unsure if he wants to keep moving for it. Youngbuck, a little bit more members of H2K than he bargained for, and he backs away. See what Copenhagen Wolves are able to get done here, trying to show some dominance around the Baron pit, but they can definitely not start this one up.
No, they don't have any wards, but they're going in for a fight. Ryu flashing away, nice. Nicely done by him. There's a ward from H2K, and now there's no wards behind the Baron pit. So yeah, the Wolves, they have to just back away from this one, kind of reset the whole game. Wait for your cooldowns. They won't have TP. That was blown before by Youngbuck trying to defend that Dragon, which ended up going down anyway because Unlimited was running from base. So the Wolves at the moment been wasting some of their very important cooldowns. When you play Hecarim, you cannot waste your teleport. You gotta make it pay off, especially towards the late game fights. And now they basically just need to wait for this to be ready again. Yanan has now completed Blade. Even have a Luden's Echo on Ryu. That's different. I would much have preferred an Hourglass, simply just to dive in onto Freeze. Nash's is more the split pushing style, so clearly Ryu is aiming to skirmish more than straight up team fight. Nash's in a team fight, it's not often you will be allowed to get more than at least one of your passive procs on every 3rd hit in a team fight, because teams are always trying to lock you down, kite away from you when you're dancing in. So that's why you see like Hourglass, because then you dive in and you aim to have a lot of burst, and then you pop Hourglass and you kind of wait for your Q to be ready again. But in this case, Ryu building more towards split pushing and longer sustained fights. Now the Wolves, we've seen this before, they start a Baron where they have 0 wards behind it. So H2K can freely walk around their own jungle and react to everything the Wolves are doing.
That barrel slowed down the Wolves quite a lot there. So we'll see if that makes them rethink this chase strategy. They keep trying to hope someone wanders a little too far out of position and then grab a catch on them and get themselves an advantage. But the fact that they're still up in gold, they're in theory still in the lead, and they're resorting to this is a little troubling. It says they don't have a lot of confidence in their straight up 5v5.
Obviously, again, they're waiting for teleport for Youngbuck, but if they want to make this play, I've said it time and time again, sorry to repeat it, they have to get control of that jungle around the red buff of H2K. Otherwise, it's too easy to just stall them. Let's see what happens here, though. They have the bush control here. They got the 2 wards. You can see one in the mid lane and one just above the edge here of this mid bush to see if anyone is walking near it, and then someone can land the charm. But H2K has no reason to check it because they have a ward, as you can see in your minimap, on the Baron. So they know Baron isn't started, which means there's only one place Copenhagen Wolves can be, and that's like waiting in a bush near the Baron. And you just don't walk in and check. There's enough wards to see where the Wolves are moving around.
Yeah, have to rethink that one. So they back away, just go back to clearing some waves out, making sure the minion waves don't get built up too heavily. But there was a bit of a scuffle over by the Baron brush. Looks like it will be aborted for now. Garden clearing out the pink as H2K place another ward just outside of the Baron pit. Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves have really stalled out in this one. They've still got the lead, but the longer this game goes, the better it is for Hjarnan and Odawamne, and frankly the rest of this H2K squad.
And Ryu as well. Diana is a fantastic late game pick. As long as you manage to land your Q before you jump in, you get the double ulti onto a target. That's an insane amount of burst, and your passive is probably one of the strongest passives in the game. I mean, you got a 0.8 AP scaling on your passive with, I believe, 200 true damage as well at level 18. So we're talking an insane amount of burst coming from Diana once she jumps in to the fights. The Wolves are back at Baron. They got 2 wards placed in here. H2K still have enough to see what's going on and stay around. Lulex needs to upgrade his greatest, or he needs to upgrade to the greatest stealth totem. Now he's not running Sidestone on these tanks. Getting these these greatest stealth totems is very important to have enough wards to play around the Barons.
Can't make do with the vision they've got. They're definitely going to need some more. Lulex, the challenging smite is down. They found him with a stun. Now they turn their attention towards Kasing, but there's a teleport coming in for Otowane. Youngbuck exhausted as he moves forward. Airwalks could be caught up. Unlimited and Freeze trying damage control on Ryu. The Timbers is dropped. The barrel is thrown. And Unlimited, he's getting chunked incredibly low. Can't get involved. Lulex moving forward. He's going to go down. Freeze picks him up, but Freeze falls to Ryu. It's a double kill now as Yarden is able to come up with 2 more. Youngbuck, Unlimited, both taken out, and a 1-for-3 trade in favor of H2K.
Yeah, it's the same again, Pyra here. We get these fights where H2K, they're in control. They've already reached the late game status. Janan starting to clean up fights, and Ryu has been fantastic on Diana nearly all game long. He had the big mistake at the Grum. And that was about it. Got ganked a lot in the mid lane, managed to always trade it even. I do wonder if before, did I say anything about true damage of Diana before? I got a little bit confused there.
I think you mentioned
If I did, that was a mistake.
Quite alright.
Not really sure why I mentioned
Still a lot of damage anyway.
There's no true damage, just a lot of damage.
It sometimes appears like that. Now H2K, they're starting to stack up on the Dragon. Should be able to secure this one, but Youngbuck has moved up towards the Baron with a few team members to try and take this one out. If they have enough damage to polish it off, they don't have Freeze there, so this is going to take a little while. H2K meandering in that direction, but very slowly. They can't know this one's happening, but they're surely about to find out. Half of the health of the Baron, and even more is gone. Lulex coming to try a smite steal, but he doesn't get it. It gets taken out by Freeze, and the fight will not start, as every member of the Wolves have managed to bail out, so they trade a Dragon for a Baron in this case. They're going to need more than that to close this game out.
It's a very important play from Mosen. They're going on Otoamne now.
Yeah, to catch him on a charm. He's not going anywhere. Toss in the barrel, but he's already done.
So we talk about how the Wolves didn't know what to do around the Baron, but this was a fantastic play. That was making the best out of a bad situation. After losing that team fight, losing the Dragon, they managed to rush the Baron. Pick it up, they can get this top tower as well. H2K, despite doing so well for the last 10 minutes, make a crucial mistake. Full credit to the Wolves.
They punished it.
They punished it.
Absolutely. We'll see if the H2K can defend this tower. It's already at half itself. It's such a massive minion wave, and they've got one built on the bottom as well. Airwalks has to be really careful, though. He's incredibly, incredibly low.
Janen's out of mana, though.
They don't want to take this fight. They've still got minions pecking away on the bottom side inhibitor turret. So they settle for taking that tower up in the top, and they should be able to get away scot-free now. Ryu's still waiting and hoping that they rotate down, but I think the Wolves have bigger fish to fry here, namely in the mid lane where there's a massive wave building up against them.
Yeah, that's why he was hoping for someone to walk down through the jungle to the mid lane. Nobody showed up, however, and instead the Wolves can be very happy with that last trade. H2K getting a little bit greedy for that Dragon. Only the second in the game for them. Definitely not worth it. Look at the wards now again from H2K. They're like saying, we know you want to play around our jungle, so every time we have the chance, we just ward it off completely. Lulex, as we talked about before, has now completed the greatest stealth totem. So you got a discount Sidestone. But when you got 2 of them, it's a Sidestone.
Yes. That's how math works, I'm pretty sure. No Kog'Maw here in the middle just yet for H2K to defend this one, but they were able to clear away the minion wave. There's still a cannon in the back empowered by the Baron buff. Yarden now has come to the rescue, but this tower's being pecked away at. Copenhagen Wolves, they try to throw out the skill shots and see if they can get a catch, or at least a little bit of harass as another wave comes in. Should be able to secure this tower. H2K in retreat back into their base.
The Copenhagen Wolves are still not playing with a Locket. They didn't have one in the last game either, and there's quite some magic damage on the side of H2K. Some from Janen, Ryu, of course, doing chunks of magic damage. No true damage. I remember that one.
But just a lot of magic damage.
I had no idea where that came from. But
okay.
Gragas, obviously, as well. I mean, in this situation, Banner of Command on Annie is honestly a good item. It's very cost efficient, and when you buff up every single member, you need that MR against all the damage from all the magic damage from H2K. It looks like Unlimited is going for Rylai's instead, which I don't really think adds a whole lot of value for him.
Airwalks trying to sneakily take away the inhibitor, but Otawamne will deny that as the two duke it out, but they're very close to the base of H2K, so Airwalks decides it may not be the best option to fight out in the open like that. He's still being slowed up by the tree. Let's see if he can make his escape here. He'll have a tunnel in just a moment. Gets the knock-up on Otawamne, but Lulex is here. Can he get out of danger? It doesn't look like it as he's barreled in and taken down. The rest of the Wolves, nothing to do there. And a nice catch by H2K from a greedy extension from Airwalks.
Yeah, and because Otawamne just stayed on him, he couldn't tunnel back, use his ulti back in base. Obviously, every hit it drops it. But not really sure what kind of backdoor attempt that was from Airwalks.
About 2 hits on it.
Yes.
I think that's healed up by now.
H2K got back in time. So, next Dragon, 145. Still not really that important because we're very far away from the potential 5th one. And it's back to full HP on the inhibitor. But the big point is H2K, despite losing that Baron, despite losing the top tower, has still managed to get really towards the late game point now. Yarnen got Infinity Edge completed. Hourglass is coming now for Rio. Once that is completed as well, he will be able to freely dive in on the Copenhagen walls. And time is running out. We're going to have to see a flank attempt with the Ahri, with the TP home guard Hecarim, one-shotting one of the carries from H2K if the Wolves want to win the fights now. Also against these double tanks.
They are going to need it. It's very daunting to deal with that damage that H2K is able to put out. Another minute on the Dragon. You can see now that Ryu has kind of doubled up here as he already had the split push potential with the Nashor's Tooth, but as you mentioned, when you want to fight, Azania's Hourglass effective for that. He completes it here.
Yeah.
And he will become an even scarier threat. Should the Wolves try to dive him and take him out?
Still don't like the Nashers, honestly. He's been team fighting, he's not been split pushing. And death cap is a lot better than for the overall AP ratios, and obviously the shield gets better, and you're about burst damage, not standing in a fight and just keep auto-attacking away. But obviously he wanted a bit more wave clear on his side, or a bit more one-on-one potential, sorry. Not really gotten to use it too much. Anyhow, we are around the Dragon. It is spawned now. Wolves have full control. H2K can give this one up. Don't want to risk face checking into the Wolves, because that's still one of the ways you can lose a fight, or otherwise you just move through the river. The big open space here, as we can see Lulex coming in. Youngbuck is sitting ready. They got wards around it. This is the fight for Copenhagen Wolves. They have to win.
They don't necessarily have to fight though. Oh, now they do. Otawamne moves in from the backside. Airwalk's trying to distract the carries. Lulex flashing forward. Youngbuck is actually distracting a huge member of H2K as he comes in from the side, but Ryu picks up Freeze. They might have enough damage to polish the rest of them off. Youngbuck incredibly low. Ryu, they're all surrounding Unlimited, and they just bash him in. Copenhagen Wolves lose 2 members here. Youngbuck still ticking away. The charm connects, but not before Ryu picks up the kill and goes on a spree, chasing down Airwalks and Soren. This could be a tower if they had the minion wave. For now, they'll back off, content with the 3 kills.
And that was the fight Copenhagen Wolves had to win. They had the control around the Dragon. They saw HK come in. They had the TP from Youngbuck, but he came in late, and the whole fight started with H2K just diving on to Freeze here, forcing him out of the fight. He barely did anything. And now they would get inhibitor from it. They're still behind in gold, but it doesn't matter when you reach late game with your comp.
As H2K beat the retreat, Leviathan's, I think he's already working on a game plan. That guy does not stop thinking about the game.
Could you see that from the pip here? Did he look like he was thinking? Well,
he thought he was thinking.
I don't really think he's gonna.
I think he was thinking.
He's not gonna look too much on Copenhagen Wolves and H2K.
No, he's definitely got a lot more
with the
unicorns in his sights.
Unicorns will love tomorrow.
Yep, and back to that other fight while Otawamne is getting chunked.
Right. So charm missing from Soren. TP is not used yet, and we see Rio on the minimap moving around the Dragon Pit, getting into the back line of Copenhagen Wolves. So he's going to get a kill outside the screen. Oh, we can just catch it right there. Now we're back. This is Ryu dying, though.
Yep, Ryu is able to throw down the Zhonya's Hourglass, but that won't save him. He gets shut down very close to taking off Airwalks, but the Copenhagen Wolves were able to come up with that pick, and they are moving towards the Baron, but this is still really risky. I don't think they want to start this. I think they just want to force H2K.
They should just force a fight here or start the Baron. You got 50 seconds on the enemy mid laner. Jumbok is looking for something. Can he get onto Yana? He has flash. Otherwise, go back to Baron. You have to start it at this point here. Your side lanes are pushing in. This is the play you need to make. Get that Baron, go back and clear your lanes, or get some kills on H2K and try and go for the finish.
Still the potential of a smite steal here. Copenhagen Wolves, they may have to peel off this one. There's just a lot of harass here. In comes Unlimited, and the Tibbers lands looking for Hjarnan, but he is still really big thanks to Kasing giving him the wild growth. Otawamne getting chunked out by Unlimited and Freeze. Airwalks now moving forward. Young Buck's already fallen down as Kasing now gets caught. He's taken out thanks to Soren and the rest of the Wolves. They managed to grab Lulex, a double kill going over to Freeze. They don't have Hjarnan, but they've got everyone else, and now they're going to get the Baron.
Look at the side lanes, Pyra here. Massive waves pushing in there. Gonna get the towers. They have to take this Baron so fast and then recall. Hjarnan is here, mainly also just to try and stop some recalls if it should happen.
Flash Charm not going to connect. Baron going down. Hjarnan still a thorn in the side of the Wolves, but you're right, that mini wave just doing a serious amount of damage to this tower. Now the Wolves have to get away. Void Rush just to get down to the bottom. They've got the empowered minions for a few minutes. Let's see what they can do with them.
Can they save the tower here? Unlimited on it, so Nexus turrets are safe. Next one is the top tower here near the inhibitor. It will stay alive and obviously slowly get back HP. That was the play Wolves had to make. There's no turning back. You needed to get that Baron once you picked off Ryu. And H2K, again, making it a bit harder for themselves to win the game. Second Baron now to Copenhagen Wolves, where it was H2K who's been winning the fights the last few minutes. Now Ryu is once again hiding in a random bush, waiting for someone to get a red buff.
Might be a
Oh, the ghost. Nope, didn't spot him.
Nope.
Didn't spot him.
Okay.
Wait for it.
Stealth mission.
He's just sitting there. He's safe. Behind enemy lines. Wait for Freeze to come in and take a nice, juicy red buff. Oh, there it is.
Oh boy. Oh boy! And his health bar evaporates. And he'll grab the red buff. Insult to injury. Ouch.
That can be game, Pyra. 80 carries gone for 60 minutes now. 60 seconds, not 60.
60 minutes would be a very, very long time to Fischio, but all the same, it's still a while before the Wolves have their carry back up. So H2K, they have a chance to push in here. They've still got supers knocking at the door. Knocking on the door, I should say. And they're just going to tank up inhibitor turret number 2. The inhibitor should fall quite easily. The Wolves offering no resistance here as they back against the wall into their base. They've caught Lulex on the charm. However, he dashes away. So with that, H2K grab themselves an inhibitor and should be able to get out or potentially bait another fight. They've got a number advantage for another 30 seconds.
Yeah, had no minions before, so couldn't go for the finish or any aggressive plays, but got, as you said, the top inhibitor. Really, Ryu, he's been good today. He's made a few mistakes here where he gets caught out. But in terms of like his overall gameplay, his impact in team fights, and then this little sneaky trick, that has been very important for H2K. Ari, in the last game, he was 6-1 and 9, I believe. This game here, 9 kills on the Diana. And who expects the enemy to sit in that bush?
For that long.
For that long, when you just picked up a Baron. Obviously, the Wolves should know by now that Ryu is looking for these plays. And never go alone, like always bring a friend.
Buddy system is very beneficial, but I think at this point Ryu's got just too much damage here for any of them individually to deal with. Dragon is started up here by the Copenhagen Wolves. Number 4 it would be if they grab it, but H2K is in hot pursuit. In comes Otawamne. The Dragon not nearly low enough, and he jumps onto Soren, who throws down the Zanya's Hourglass, but he gets knocked up and locked up and taken out. In comes Freeze around the side. They drop a big Tibbers. Lulex going low, but not taken out. Finally, he falls. The Dragon still aggroed in the middle of it as Ryu is trying to end this game right now. A double kill goes over to Hjarnan. Ryu polishes another one off, and Airwalks is the only one to make it out. No Dragon for Copenhagen Wolves, and things are looking grim.
Ryu is so fed on this Diana here. He's really also getting used to Nash's in the fights because they just roll over Copenhagen Wolves. Pushing onto the tower, this will be the finish. Look at the wave coming top lane as well for them. Such a nice comeback from H2K, but still some mistakes. 2 Barons went over to the Wolves, where H2K were in control of the fights.
H2K were in control. They gave up a lot. As you mentioned, it was not the cleanest, but they are trying to end it that way. All the inhibitors down. Airwalk's the only one there to defend, but those Nexus turrets are going down so fast, and Airwalk's just has to bail back to the fountain because this game is all over. Number 2 to H2K.
So clearly we saw what Copenhagen Wolves had to do, or have to do, to win this best out of 5. You need to run a comp like you're doing here, where you have early game pressure, where you can get a lead. Like the bottom lane was so heavily in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. They were like almost 100 CS up at some point over Yanin and Kasing. So that is obviously the kind of comps we have to see from the Wolves. The problem was, despite H2K never really winning any games in the LCS when they're behind,